Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chris with House 1122, and we back with another one. So today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. It's an oldie but goodie. I saw this movie several years ago, and I just realized that he has a YouTube channel. But it's essentially this character. I forget his name, but he plays a character in a movie that just so happens he was in prison for X amount of time, got released from prison, and now he's a motivational speaker. His name is Tijuana Jackson. We'll get right into it. The first thing I want to do is show you an old video. If you're not familiar with the movie, show you a video from the movie, and then we're gonna actually react to his some of his YouTube content. I think it's gonna be pretty fun. So let's get right into it.
This is Tijuana Jackson, ex-convict turned motivational speaker. And what I've done is I've worked my way out of prison and became one of the most pronounced black life coaches in the world. That's why I'm here at the Black Entertainment Awards, because as we all know, man, everybody know anybody who rap, anybody who sing is semi-crazy, and they do need someone like myself to help keep them on that path. Let these folks know who you really is, homie.
I mean, what it do? It's your boy Dropper, a.k.a. Real Rap Raw. You know what I'm saying? Do me, because that's what I do. Don't.
Y'all remember Chalk the Dropper? I think this is where it actually came from. It's how old this movie is. This movie is a classic.
Do you, because you can't get done. Think about it and read a book. After you read it, tell me what you read. My life. You know what I'm saying? Top to bottom. Where are you? Exactly. Real Rap Raw.
There's an opportunity out there for each and every individual. I started coaching a lot of my homies in prison. Just imagine this. Just imagine the transformation of what it's like, man, to go from the inside to the outside, and realize that Asian women are just as attractive as Asian men. You heard me? Everything you spitting, what I'm saying, right out of my life. Go and tell these folks, man, where that struggle really came from.
I'm from Japan. You know what I'm saying? I was raised, you know what I'm saying, Japanese and Asian. You know what I'm saying? So my upbringing.
Japanese and Asian. I gotta watch this movie now. I forgot how funny this movie was.
It was rough, you know what I mean? Battling with little Asian Chinese kids, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what they saying. So we in battles. I'm coming to them hard with what I got. They hit me with what they got. I think I'm winning, but I'm not.
2 trips to juvie don't stop a real nigga, heard me? I've worked with the likes of some very famous celebrities, some of you may not know.
Doing what I do, Real Rap Raw, 6 bars. My life, yours. Pick one, choose one. Japanese, filled with blood for the gun. Yeah.
This is what Kevin Hart was funny to me. He's still funny, but I think he's more corporate now. But that's just my opinion. This is old Kevin Hart. He's funny now.
Yeah. The devil, I know him. Don't believe me? Get the snow. I shovel. Now what? Put it back in the bucket. Ice turns what? Nantucket. That's what. Don't think.
Last question, homie. Look, man, I understand that you're also gonna be like kind of doing a little bit of co-hosting at the BET Awards.
Finally, I'm getting what I'm owed. My dues got me doing a little ballad. Me, Tone Loc, MC Brains, Kwame, my man 3D Surge. You know what I'm saying? We all up there doing our thing. I didn't really.
All right, we're gonna stop there, but that's essentially Tijuana Jackson. He's a motivational speaker. So this is an old movie. Now fast forward to present time, he has a YouTube channel where he's a full-on life coach. So that's what originally we want to react to. So let's go right to it. Let's see what kind of information he puts out, see if he's legit. And again, I'm a therapist, so I'm not gonna act like I know, but I know good information when I see it. So let's get to it. All right. I'm a 55. Here's 25 brutal truths I wish I knew in my 30s and 40s. Let's get to it.
As a 55-year-old man who has made more than his share of mistakes, I realized that 80% of my setbacks throughout life could have been avoided if somebody had just sat down, looked me in my eye at 30, 40 years old, and gave me the 25 tips I'm about to give you.
Before you get crazy into it, but just think about that. Think about how cool that is that he transitioned. And this is what I love the creator market. This is why I love the space that we're currently in, whether you're creating or not. I think we all should create. But this is an old movie. You should go watch it. It's really good. It's hilarious, but it has a lot of jewels in it, or in gems, just a lot of good stuff. And now he's taken that idea and he's created this character, and now he's a motivational speaker via use it on YouTube. I'm sure he has some other pages as well. But think about that. Is he's created this character, and this is not the only video. He has 99,000 subscribers. 99,000 subscribers. So there's a mix of comedy as well as this truth aspect. And he probably gives us some jewels. So let's just get into it. I don't want to get too far in, but let's go.
Number one, the mistakes you make as an adolescent or young adult can and will impact the rest of your life. So if you take your future seriously, start acting like it right now. The second tip I wish I had got when I was younger is resolutions won't make you rich, but execution will. Fail quickly, and as my mentor always say, execute, analyze, and adjust. Rinse and repeat.
Look at them teeth.
The third tip that would have helped me when I was younger is to understand that my parents have psychological and emotional limitations that most likely influence the way that I look at life, the way I look at relationships, the way I look at money. And the better I can understand how that has affected me, the better I can become at working on my own self-limiting belief. Tip number.
So check this out. That's huge there. And that's not to say when we talk about limitations, a lot of people think of problems, but we all have limitations. I'm a therapist. I have limitations to my therapy. There are some clients that because of my limitations, I'm not able to reach. That's not a problem because there's another group of people that I can reach via because of the skills that I have or the things that I can acquire and things of that nature. We all have blind spots. So when he talks about the parent, I think that's a sensitive space for a lot of us is because when we, I'm 38, so I'm a millennial. So my parents are baby boomers. They had different experiences than I had. So essentially, there may be some good experiences and some bad experience. Let's remove the idea of good and bad and just, take what is. Is this information useful in today's time? Is this information useful in today's time? If it's not, and we exchange it, that's the limitation. It doesn't have to be good or bad. When I grew up where I grew up at, I wasn't some hardcore kid. However, I had a mindset that allowed me to survive in that reality or that environment. When I came out of that environment, went to college, that mindset that I had then was no longer necessary. So that's the thing. It's that we have to get outside this idea of good and bad. One more thing to that is me and my wife we're plant-based. We're vegans. I grew up eating animal products and things of that nature. Didn't think anything wrong with it. As soon as we got to the point where I became aware of new information, I was able to then make a better decision. That doesn't mean that all those years I'm like, oh, how bad it was. My parents were wrong. What? No, that's the resources we had available at that time. So this is the thing. What he's saying is that those are some limitations. As we grow and we develop, it's very important to acknowledge those things.
Before, neurodivergence can make relationships extremely hard. In the first chapter of the book, ADHD Effect on Marriage by Melissa Orloff, she literally says, people with ADHD can be hard to love. Would you believe that for a marriage where at least one spouse has ADHD, the divorce rate is 14% higher than the national average? Knowing your symptoms, your tendencies, and even maybe a full diagnosis earlier on in life will save you a lot of unnecessary suffering, you heard me? You can build a community or a team around you to complement your mental strengths and weaknesses, family. You ain't got to get medicated. You just got to get dedicated.
You do not have to get medicated. You have to get dedicated. Again, I'm a person, I work with the brain as well. And a lot of the clients that I work with tend to have anxiety. They have ADHD. And we can see these brain patterns in their brain. And by training their brain, we're able to work with those frequency bands without medication. And I tell all of my clients that this is not something that I do to you. This is something that we do together. So the fact that we're doing this together requires you to then start thinking about what you're eating. You start thinking about, am I spending too much time on these devices? Do I need to get out in nature? I need to get me a workout routine. So Tijuana is on fire. I'm enjoying this. Let's get it.
Being conscious of that alone will give you an incredible head start in your professional and personal life, you heard? Tip number 5 I wish I got when I was young is that sugar is the devil. Bread, rice, pasta.
Oh, Tijuana is killing it.
All sugar. Basically, the consumption of anything white with the exception of cauliflower, garlic, and white women should be minimized. Fruit juices is just sugar. And sugar will age you prematurely, compromise your liver, and the domino effect of that is it will weaken your reproductive organs. Have your boner looking like limp to simp. Tip number 6 I wish somebody told me when I was young is that whomever you choose to smash with can become the mother or father of your child.
That
They
is a
family
fact.
history, they sexual.
That's a fact. So those I tell all my kids this, man. I'm like, that I work with and I try to keep it straight honest with them. You know, I am a licensed therapist. I learned all the stuff that everyone else knows, but I have to keep it honest with them. You know, when we make that type of decision, things can happen and they come with consequences. Let's not make a decision that we're not willing to deal with the consequences. And if we're not willing to deal with the consequences, make a different decision. It's that simple.
History, their medical history, and their mindset will affect the DNA and development of your child. Tip number 8 would have really helped me in my 30s and 40s, which is to never make a purchase at face value. Buying things might be cheap, but it's the maintenance of them things that keep you in the rat race. Heard me? For instance, your monthly data plan, your protection plan, the time you waste on the phone with tech support, the interest you pay on your credit card, your insurance, etc. And I ain't even talking about all the time you waste just scrolling on the damn phone. So never make a purchase at face value, especially in the age of subscription-based businesses. You heard me? Tip number 9 would have been a great help in my 30s and 40s, which is to stop worrying about things you cannot control. Don't get me wrong, you can have empathy, but your empathy should never leave you empty. Type bars in the comments if you get that. Tip number 10 I wish I had learned when I was younger is that books give you leverage. Social media is mostly sales and entertainment platforms. The real, good, useful, in-depth information is usually found in books. Man, you can put yourself ahead of the pack just by getting off the soundbite bandwagon. Just start reading books on the topics, lifestyles, and values that are interesting to you. Real talk, most of what you hear on social media is just regurgitated stuff from
Bruh, if you start reading, it will literally change. And again, this is the thing about reading, especially when we find a topic that we enjoy. Oftentimes, it's the same information. And a lot of people say, well, why read? The thing about the way the brain works is the brain works off of repetition, habit. So the more we do something over and over, eventually the brain learns it. So when I'm teaching a client essentially to calm down their nervous system, once we find what the brain likes, we reinforce it. So reinforcement is how we learn. So reading books from different authors, similar areas, that reinforcement, that brain will start to hold on to it. Man, Tijuana, bruh, I'm gonna have to stop. Hey, you even got a new subscriber. I'm a subscriber for sure.
books anyway. Tip number 11 I wish I had learned before I had started traveling as a young man is that everyone is a salesperson. Everybody is selling you something regardless of what you hear.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I keep stopping it, but I tell my people this all the time. Everyone is selling. They're trying to tap into your emotion. If they can tap into your emotion, they can sell you something. Okay? So the more that we're here with situations, the more that we're here and we understand that everyone said, you're selling everything. I'm selling to you right now. I'm selling to you my personality, to subscribe to my channel, to like up the video. I'm selling. Now, everyone's not going to scam you, but everyone is always selling. The thing, if you know that, then you can consciously make decisions based off what you desire, and everyone's also a buyer.
What you see, there's a value proposition in there somewhere. When you are listening to something or someone, take a beat to ask yourself what this person is trying to get you to buy into. Sometimes it's overt, sometimes it's extremely subtle, but everyone is trying to get you to buy something. Tip number 12 that would have really helped me in my 30s and 40s is that your gross is not your take-home pay. Most people speak of their gross revenue as if it's their salary. Don't do that. Think after taxes, think after business expenses. That net, that's your take-home pay. That net is what you really make. When you look at it that way, you might discover that you actually losing money, or you might be inspired to make a lot more. Do me a favor and hit the like button if you like something, and if you're motivated.
Hey, I'm gonna put
notification bell.
I'm gonna put this channel in the description box as well. If you guys made it to this point, go ahead and hit them up with a sub too, man. This is actually quite fire. Will be quite dope, and I'm gonna throw this out into the universe. Is that maybe one day I get to interview him live on this channel. Tijuana Jackson, not the actor, but this character.
If someone had told me 13 early in life, I'd be a lot further ahead than I am now. Life is too short because we wait too long to start living. First of all, what does it mean to start living? Well, what it means is that we spend too much time posturing, making impressions, and seeking acceptance. When we do that, we are living for someone else, whether it's our parents or our peers. The quicker you give up on making impressions, the quicker you can begin to start living. The quicker you can gain your 10,000 hours in self-evaluation, self-discovery, and self-mastery. Bars. Matter of fact,
Bars. Chocolate drop, where you at? Chocolate drop, where you at?
take bars in the comments if you get that. Life ain't about proving yourself.
If y'all made this far, do me a favor, put bars in the comment section if you get that.
It's about improving yourself. Bars. Tip number 14 that would help me out a lot when I was young is that charity begins at home and ends abroad. And by charity, I mean good deeds, not just money. Water your own grass, feed your own dog, work on your own body, love your own woman, be attentive to your...
Work on your own body, that's the key. You know, health is real wealth. Health is real wealth. The rich man does not care about his riches when he is in that doctor's office and they are telling him that he has this terminal issue. The rich man wants health. Okay? Health is wealth. Now, it is my belief that once you start, it's not even my belief, I know this. When we start taking care of ourselves health-wise, putting the right foods in our system, not only putting the right foods in our system, but putting the right information in our mind, then we get this not only motivation, but we understand that discipline and consistency is how we build things. We all get this moment of motivation to do something, but that is not sustainable. What we're looking for is sustainable energy over a period of time. And the same thing when we think about coffee and we think about, you know, eating healthy foods that sustain our energy. When we kill ourselves, not kill ourselves, excuse me, but we kill some coffee, come on now, YouTube. You know what I meant. When we destroy some coffee, what happens is we get this boost of energy. And it's like, oh, boom, boom, boom. But it's this slow, you know, we just kind of spike down. But when we're taking care of ourselves, we're eating right, we're making sure that we get blood flow. When we're putting the right things in our body, moving our body, getting enough rest, that energy is not this impulse of energy, but it's sustained for longer periods so that we can make this money that we're chasing. Stop chasing the bag, get to health, and the bag will come to you.
Your own kids and mind your own business. The better you become at those things, the better you will become at helping others do the same. Out of all 25 of these tips, tip number 15 would have probably helped me the most in my younger years. Give up on your healing fantasy. Many of us grew up feeling neglected, physically or verbally abused by our parents. Some of us had parents that were substance abusers. Well, according to psychologist Lindsay Gibson, those of us with rough upbringings now live our lives in hopes of a healing fantasy. The healing fantasy is the one thing that we believe we need to get or hear from our parent or our...
Oh man, I'm sorry to stop it there, but when I work with a family member, and for example, let's say in a situation where, you know, a person's a single mother and they want the father to get involved and do more things, and they're hoping that they do something dramatic. My question to them is, what happens if they don't? That'll be very nice if they create this idea. I need to apologize. I need to make this right. They have some kind of an aha moment. But what happens if they don't? Are you depending on them to do that so that your life can move on? You must move on and keep going and keep thriving. Create a level of resiliency. And if they come back and make things right, cool. But if they don't, you must heal yourself.
Abuser to make everything whole and okay again. Give up on that fantasy right now and just accept that the people who abused you or hurt you probably grew up in a lot of dysfunction themselves. Accept their limitations and do what you have to do to heal and protect your own sanity. They already lived their lives and they probably forgot or are in denial of what they did to you. Tip number 16 is another big one for me. You can't change nobody. Whoever you got with in the beginning is gonna be the same person they is in the end. You gotta remember, man, folks be on their best behavior in the honeymoon phase. That little white lie that you let slide will eventually become pathological lying as time goes on. Ask yourself if you can live with the best and worst versions of whatever traits that person exhibits, because that's exactly what you're going to end up with. I mean, you can inspire someone to change by changing yourself, but you will never change anyone. Type bars in the comments if you get that. Tip number 17, don't try to be a professional investor unless you can devote your life to it. When it comes to the investment game, a lot of us late like a transgender menstrual cycle. Maybe we wasn't exposed to it at a young age, or we got an unhealthy relationship.
What'd he say?
Whatever the case is.
What'd he say? See. See. I ain't even gonna even talk about what he said.
It's not our expertise. So the best thing most of us can do is to consistently put money into a few tried and true funds and let it compound over time. And by time, I mean 10, 20, 30 plus years. Like I always say, life is like a vending machine. It's full of change, and you're gonna be glad you stockpile that money when you come across these unforeseen challenges. Tip number 18, I wish I had heard in my 30s and 40s, is prepare your kids for their future, not your past. I don't care if you was top dog in the yard, or the hardest gangster, or the fastest running back, or the highest.
Bruh, I'm so tired of people living vicariously through their children. Sports, I work, man, bruh, all of it. Uh, back when I was, we was like, bro, let it go. It's 2025. You're done. You're done. I was a decent athlete too, but those days are over.
Testing Mensa student in all of California. Prepare your kids for their future, not your past. Bars. Tip number 19 of these 25 tips be cracking me up, but know the difference between perceived pain and personal pain. For example, it's all...
Ooh, I'm ready. I'm excited about this one.
All these angry men claiming they just pissed off with the modern woman, yet they ain't been in contact with a woman in 2-3 years. Your most obvious pain is blue balls. Sound like they're suffering with vaginal syndrome. Just because it's the common narrative does not mean that it is your personal experience.
Bro, I am so tired of this men and women specifically, and I might have other persons from different cultures, but specifically in the black community, we have this black woman versus black man. And I love the videos that come around. I love you, black woman. I love you, black man. I love those. But the reality of it is that there are so much healing that needs to take place, and the healing takes place with the self. It's not that you guys need to be this and we'll be more of this. Rather, I need to become this and become this healed version of myself, so that my wife, or my wife, but in other situations, if you're not married and you watch this video, you can not find a significant other, but I say attract the significant other that is on the same frequency band as you. But when you guys are out here trying to change people and they need to make this kind of money, she need to submit, bro. We are lost. Just this stuff is wild.
Tip number 20 would have definitely helped me in my 30s. Work on tone and emotional regulation daily. Because you ain't going to get laid by saying certain things. You're going to get laid by saying things a certain way. Bars. And that applies from the boardroom to the bedroom. Type bars in the comments if you get that. I actually wish I had heard tip 21 when I was 21. For people of color, the United States is an amazing tool, but it is not necessarily a destination. Now, does that mean you got to uproot your family and move away?
Now, I'm not gonna lie, me and my wife, we've been talking about it. Do we really want to be here?
No, it just means that you should seek refuge in places where you are regarded as an equal. Spend time in places where you get to see the glint in a stranger's eyes simply because he's happy to see his fellow man. When you begin to experience this type of empathetic harmony, the mind begins to heal. Find your true destination where you are loved rather than tolerated, and visit it frequently when you need to hit that reset button. Through that exercise, you will broaden your horizons in your quest for freedom, and you will also develop a better understanding of what there is to appreciate in this great country we call the USA. Tip number 22 is a hard pill to swallow when you were a young man, but all advice ain't nice. Some advice might come off as harsh or lacking compassion, but it does not compromise the credibility of the information being given to you. In other words, you can still learn from a brighter even if you don't like the type bars in the comments if you get that. Tip number 23 would have helped me from my teens to my damn 50s. Qualified mentors only.
Dog, stop getting advice from people who are not in that position. And again, that doesn't mean that they're not valuable. They could be valuable for something else. But make sure they are qualified to give you or to advise you on that, whatever that is. You don't ask a broke person how to make millions of dollars. You don't ask a person who hasn't been in any successful relationship how to be in a relationship. That's why all of these podcasts and all of these people talking about relationship and how men and women are, oftentimes they're not in successful relationships and have yet to be in any. So their perspective is coming from either an observation, what others have gone through, or and sometimes maybe they've had a poor experience, but that's just one experience. but qualified mentors only.
Aggressively seek out the people who are doing the things and living the life that you aspire to. Even though Pookie mean well and you feel more comfortable around Pookie, he ain't never built no 10-figure online fitness empire. If that's what you into, get around the people who do that. Hey, I come from humble beginnings, so I had to pay for some of my mentors, but through them, I fell into the company of some other mentors who don't charge me a dime but make me money all the time. You heard? All right, let's stop for a minute because these last two tips really matter. Tip number 24, I wish I had heard in my younger years. Contrary to the alpha male rhetoric, your emotions matter.
Facts.
Just because you feel an emotion don't
Doesn't
mean
mean
you
it's
have
true.
to act on it. But you should always allow yourself space and time to experience and evaluate your feelings. Take time to observe how your brain and body responds to those feelings, because that's where trauma and PTSD reside, in unresolved emotion. The more feelings you can identify and validate within yourself, the easier it becomes to empathize with and validate the feelings of others. And that is called emotional intelligence, the strongest predictor of success. Type bars in the comments if you get there. And tip number 25 is don't seek success, seek purpose, and let success find you. You might not know it, but you most likely have emotional baggage. And as you head down that rabbit hole trying to heal your pain, insecurities, and fears, eventually you will emerge with a story to tell. And that story will be loaded with purpose. But whatever you choose to do, prioritize your purpose. Once you find purpose, you ain't working no more. You are being of service. Big difference. If this video's got you fired up, here go another.
Yo, I'm a subscriber. Yo, all right. If you hung out with me to the end of this video, I appreciate you. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Tell me in the comments, what tip do you feel most that you value the most? Which tip do you feel like if you would have known about in when you were a little bit younger would have changed your life? And which, or even now, which one of those tips are you currently implementing right now to improve your life? Share this with somebody that's in their teens, right? Get this to some of your younger persons that's in your life so that they can see these type of information, this type of videos. It's too much in the world right now, and we have too much access to these things to help them get better. So do me a favor, if you enjoyed this type of content, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, like up the video, subscribe to the channel, put into the comments which tip helped you out the most. And then also, if you would like me to react to some videos, maybe some your personal music videos, some in particular the videos that I would like to react to, focused on healing, mental health, wealth. This is a progressive channel. I don't want to do too many of the trauma building or trauma bonding, or even some of the stuff related to what's going on in the political format, so I like to stay away from that. But anyway, again, if you hung out with me this long, I appreciate you. Again, this channel, I want to be as transparent as possible. I'm not this person who speaks extremely clear, like that's not me. I have to be myself. That's when these videos come out natural and I feel the best about it. So I enjoyed this video. I'm a subscriber. I'm probably going to react to a few more of his videos, but I want to do it with you guys together. I'm not going to watch it then react. Tijuana Jackson, if you like that, I'll put his channel in the description as well. And until next time, peace.
Get hotter in the summer, yeah. Hotter in the summer. The winter don't stand no chances. Hotter in the summer.